Good evening, everyone. I guess I'm audible and visible to all of you. I welcome you all in this session to discuss questions that may be asked from sociology optional in your interview. So first of all, congratulations for all those who are appearing for the interview tomorrow onwards, and at the same time, best of luck to all of you who are going for it. As you know, that interview is of 275 marks, which is about understanding, evaluating your overall personality. This segment of the examination is not mainly about your knowledge, but definitely about understanding the kind of personality, the aptitude, attitude, etc., that you have. It will not involve only questions from the optional that you have. As you know, there are different segments from which they are going to ask that will depend on your DAF, detailed application form. So definitely some questions will be there from the optional that you have chosen, and somehow those questions are repeated in the sense 50 plus optionals are there. And it's not possible that in an interview board expert of all the disciplines are there, but that does not mean you can outsmart those people who are asking questions from your optional. In fact, I will suggest you not to do at all. Not to do at all. Don't try to outsmart them. So better you should think of those questions that they may ask and try to and try to give an honest answer based on your knowledge and your understanding of the subject. I have picked few questions. If I will prepare a list of the questions that may be asked, it could be like 100 plus, 200 plus questions that may be summarized, these kind of questions they may ask. But I have selectively I have picked only 15 questions, basis which I'm going to discuss and take this session on behalf of Khan Global Studies as you're on this platform. So we will see how to go about answering those questions. One thing that I will suggest for all the aspirants who are going for interview, be honest. As simple as that. That has a reason. You know what? If you're honest, that means you are telling the truth. When you're telling the truth, there is no need of guard. But if you're lying, you have to create guards. One lie leading to another lie, and you will be caught. So there is no point losing marks for saying something which is not right. And I think you're smart enough. I'm just being cautious. You're smart enough, that's why you're going to give your interview. So that is not going to be an issue with you, I understand. But at times I've seen people, from my students I remember, they tried to outsmart their interviewers, which only had adverse impact on their marks. Good evening again to all of you. I can see so many good evenings now. I'm replying back to all of them. So as I pointed out, I've selected 15 questions. I will try to give answers to these questions. My answer is my way of answering that. It is possible that you can have your own answers as well. But remember one thing, it is not about your knowledge of the subject which is already tested in your optional paper. So it's mainly about your personality, your awareness, your understanding, and the question that will be used by them, asked by them, to drill you further, to understand things about you, personality of yours, etc. So let's begin with the questions. So this is a very simple question which may be asked with any one of you. Either you are from sociology background or not. Why sociology is an optional? And I have all these three questions related to the first question itself. What do I mean by that? Why did you choose sociology as an optional? Then if you are from engineering background or from medical background or from science background, so there will be a very natural question coming from engineering, mechanical, computer, engineering background, civil engineering background, or medical background. Why did you choose sociology? Then, when you will answer this question, the natural question, which could be the culminating one, okay, fine. If you say so, what is sociology? So, first, let's try to answer these two questions. Why did you choose sociology as an optional? If you had sociology in your graduation, the simple answer is I did my graduation in this subject. I love this subject. I like this subject. I have a better understanding of the subject, and it is an optional in there. That's why I went for it. As simple as that. So it is not going to be a very difficult question for those who had the same subject in their graduation or in their masters. Obvious question, obvious optional would be the subject that you had in your graduation. But this question becomes tricky if you did not have any background in it. Then why did you choose it? So suppose you are coming from civil engineering. I'm just giving an example. It could be any subject which is coming from or which belongs to science background. The question will be, why did you go for it? So suppose I've been giving the interview. Then I would like to answer this question using two words. Those two words could be aptitude and attitude. Aptitude and attitude. What do I mean by that? Your aptitude is something that you're good with. You're born with. You are good at it naturally. So you went for civil engineering because you're good at maths, physics, chemistry, whatever you're good at, science background. Another reason can be there was a peer pressure. That's why I went for this engineering thing. But again, I will say that won't be a very good answer because your father pressurized you. That's why you selected it. Then if you say so, then you have to defend things. For example, you can quote even Subhash Chandra Bose was forced by his father to go for ICS. He did his ICS and after that he left it. Right? I don't think there is any necessity of going that far. Instead, you can say, I did my 12th in science and there was career counseling. If career counseling happened, I was suggested that I should go for engineering. Thus, I went for engineering. So, this explanation is why did you go for engineering? Then, try to come to sociology as an optional. Why? So, you can give explanation. While I was doing my graduation, I came across certain personalities. I came to know about certain personalities, such as is your choice. Such as, for example, suppose I say, such as इसी क्वेश्चन के आंसर में बता रहा हूं, such as Armstrong Pame. An IAS officer from Manipur, who is known as Miracle Man. He himself was a physics graduate from St. Stephen's College, University of Delhi. So, my point is, when you saw this person from physics background, doing remarkable job in Manipur. You must be knowing that he is the person who, on the request of the villagers to make 1 kilometer of road, was able to make 100-kilometer road. That's why he is known as the miracle man as well. So, being inspired by these people, I realized that I should go for civil services. See, I'm coming to explain why did you choose sociology. So, being inspired by some personalities like him, I thought of going in civil services, and I knew my knowledge of engineering is going to be handy for me. So, if I have technical expertise, it is going to help me only. Definitely, I could have contributed more in any private sector or in production sector, but I was more inclined towards public services. So I thought of giving examination, clearing examination. And in order to clear the examination, if I have to choose optional, then I have to see where I have to spend time, less time, which is more time consuming, which is less time consuming. It is an honest reply. So if you are going for civil engineering or mechanical engineering as an optional versus you are going for sociology as an optional, it is going to be less time consuming. And secondly, you can give references as well. For instance, you can give reference of UPSC annual reports. UPSC annual reports clearly points out more than 17% students come from science background, and around 67 to 68% students come from engineering backgrounds. And they all go for humanities or social sciences. The top 3 subjects from which people are selected so far have been geography, political science, and sociology. So I saw the syllabus of these subjects and I liked sociology, so I chose sociology. Honest answer. Make it precise. Because of the length of the optional, I chose this out of geography, political science, and sociology, or any other social science you can quote. Giving reason, when I saw the syllabus and previous year question, I realized it is quite simple and I can relate to it. Right? Vijay, you're right. So, but what can I do? He no more teaches here. So, abhi to you have to bear me. And definitely he is a good teacher, no doubt in that. But अभी थोड़ा फोकस करें हम लोग उस पे इंटरव्यू पे. यहाँ पे हम ये नहीं देखने हैं who is best and who is not. I'm here to help you to score well in your interview. Are you going to write? Are you going to give your interview tomorrow? और किसी दिन? नहीं तो फोकस इस पे करो, ठीक है ना? इंटरव्यू कैसे क्लियर करना है. फोकस इस पे रखिए आप लोग अभी. The main focus of this session is to help you answer those questions that might be asked in the interview from those students who come from sociology background or who had sociology as an optional. Okay? So this could be a genuine answer to this question. I did my engineering, but during that time around when I was doing my engineering, I realized I'm more inclined towards civil services. I want to do civil services. I want to serve people. I want to bring change in the society. So I wanted to clear the examination. And in order to clear the examination, I had to make sure that I clear it. So an optional which is time consuming versus one which is not, I will go for the optional which is not time consuming. And even there are so many options. From there, I picked one because of my interest. When I saw the syllabus and the previous year questions, I found it interesting and relatable. That's why I went for, I chose sociology as an optional. ठीक है जी? उसके बाद ये एक जनरल सा क्वेश्चन है, बिकॉज इट इज अ वेरी सिंपल थिंग. If you're coming from any other background and you are going for sociology without having any background, you're preparing for it. So a natural question could be, what is sociology? What do you think of sociology is? Sociology है क्या? वो बताइए. So there could be different possible answers. One answer I'm going to give. Rather is asking how to avoid fear in front of the board. See, it is not possible that you will be without fear. Fear kaho, apprehension kaho, you are going to have. You will be having little bit of fear and apprehension. I can give you some signs through which you can understand. If there is some butterfly in the stomach, that means you're a little bit nervous. That is normal. That is okay. So be comfortable with the fact that you're nervous. Okay. It happens with everyone. Whoever goes for interview. No one is sure that I'm going to crack it this year or that year. After interview only, they tell you whether it was good or bad. Before the interview, no. But yes, if you're prepared, definitely that is going to have an impact on the interview. So when you are answering this question, what is sociology and how would you explain it to a person not aware of it? Means a person who does not know what is sociology, how will you answer? So first begin with what is sociology. Sociology is systematic understanding of society. That's the very simple definition of it. Systematic understanding of society or scientific understanding of society. I will just say, don't use the word scientific because the next question they may ask, what is science? So this is one of the tricks that you have to use in your interview. Answer a question so that it ends there itself. Don't answer in a way that you give some lead to the interviewer to ask another question related to the previous question. So if you are prepared for answering what is science, it is okay. But I will suggest कि ऐसा आंसर दीजिए कि वहीं पे खत्म हो. Science, sociology is a systematic understanding of society, and then you can mention a name. For example, Anthony Giddens. British sociologist Anthony Giddens. He says, as you're going for interview, you'd be aware about it. He said, sociology is systematic understanding of a modern society with a special focus on modern society, not exclusively. Means sociology tries to understand a modern society, though not necessarily it focuses only on modern society, but main focus is on modern society. Then definitely there will be a question, what is modern society, what is modernity? So that answer could be given. Again, if you want to quote Anthony Giddens, you can say, whatever changes were taking place in the 17th century Europe and afterwards brought change in the institutions and the value system of European society. That is known as modernity. And Europe became modern society. So the next again question could be, what were those things which were happening? So you can talk about starting from Renaissance and Reformation movement, Enlightenment, Industrial Revolution, French Revolution, etc. took place there, which somehow changed the ethos, value system, and the institutions prevailing in Europe, which is known as modernity. And Europe became a modern state, modern country. Why this happened, what is going on, what is going to be the fate of this society, etc. was supposed to be studied, and that is what sociology is. That will be the answer for what is sociology. And if you want to mention another name, then you can anytime mention name of Alex Ingalls. Actually, Alex Ingalls has written a book what is sociology? Where he says sociology, if you want to answer what is sociology, you can answer three questions. Those three questions are, what did the founding father say? जो founding father थे उन्होंने क्या कहा है? What is sociology? Then what are the contemporary sociologists are saying, or what is the contemporary research is on? And third is what does the reason suggest? Reason क्या कहता है? कि what is the subject matter of sociology? I will suggest not to go there. One answer would be enough. But if you know about Alex Henkel's, as you have cleared your mains, for sure you will be aware of. So you can mention Alex Henkel's as well. Then the tail part of this question could be, how will you explain this? What do you do in sociology, or what is the subject matter of sociology? A person who is not aware of the subject. It is possible. It is possible. Even if you'll ask me, it is only during my graduation that I came to know that there is a subject known as sociology. Coming from science background, I did my graduation in mathematics from University of Delhi. So even I was not aware about this subject as such. Economics for sure, psychology for sure, philosophy for sure, political science definitely. But anthropology and sociology are subjects about which people are not that much aware. So if I have to explain a person who is layman kind of person, so I can ask a simple question: what do you think the way we live in joint family system in India? Do you think in Europe also they live in the same way? Even he will say, no, I've seen in the movies they live separately, means they live independently, nuclear family is prominent. Probably he would be knowing this. So now you can go about it. Why this difference? Why do Indians prefer joint family system, whereas the Europeans prefer nuclear family? When you try to understand this phenomena, that is sociology. Achha, here only I want to make you understand the difference between sociology, psychology, and philosophy in a very brief way. When you try to understand the behavior of a man, social science means social science studies the behavior of man. So when you try to understand behavior of a man on the basis of group, community or society he or she belongs to, that is sociology. Repeating myself. When you try to understand the behavior of a man or a woman, the behavior of an individual on the basis of group or community or society he or she belongs to, this is sociology. When you try to understand an individual's behavior on the basis of traits of his or her personality, on the individual level, if you want to understand why he or she is behaving the way they are behaving, then it is psychology. But if you want to use your mind and analyze, means when you want to understand things on the level of ideas, you are doing philosophy. So major difference in these three subjects, sociology, psychology, and philosophy could be, it focuses on group behavior. It focuses on individual. Whereas this focuses on ideas. This is just a brief understanding of these disciplines. You must be aware about it. This way, you can help anyone understand this. So for instance, I give a very simple example to people. Suppose I am observing from my third floor, there are two people fighting, but I can hear what they're saying. So through their language, I somehow infer they belong to a particular group. They belong to a particular state or a particular area. And I judge, as they come from that group, that area, that state, that's why they are fighting. Because people from that area, that group, that state are quarrelsome. लड़ाई ही करते रहते, इसलिए लड़ाई कर रहे हैं. This has a sociological hint. I'm not saying this is sociology, but this kind of explanation is sociological. You are behaving because of the group that you belong to. Then suppose you go downstairs and you ask the person, hey, why are you fighting, guys? So out of those two, one person is very aggressive when he comes to you. Do you also want something? Should I also knock you down? Then you realize this person is aggressive. This person has temper issues. Short tempered he is. Now, the second person says, see, he's fighting with me, I'm not. Look, now he's picking a fight with you. He's that kind of person. Now you have a different kind of understanding the same phenomena, of the same phenomena. Now, you realize it is this person who is picking a fight with people. Now you're not explaining the behavior on the basis of group he or she belongs or he belongs to. Now you're trying to understand the phenomena on the basis of traits of his personality, that he's aggressive, he picks fights, that's why he's fighting. This is psychological explanation. So when you come back, you're relaxing and you're thinking, why do people fight? Log ladte hain kyun yaar? And you're thinking this happens, that happens, that's why people fight. This is philosophy, because you're trying to understand a given phenomena on the basis of ideas. Clear? So this is kind of brief hint. This is going to help you in the sense you know everything because you cleared your mains. And whatever I'm saying is making sense. And all those people who are watching it for the first time because they have to write their mains and prepare for interview in future, for them it is also going to help to understand the difference between these three disciplines. And believe me, sociology always has fought a war with these two disciplines, especially Durkheim. Emile Durkheim is the person who established sociology against the attack of psychology and philosophy, because there were simple questions. We are already studying human behavior. What are you going to study different from us? The answer from sociology, the answer from Durkheim was this: you are understanding things on idea level. Philosophy, you are understanding things on individual level. I am trying to understand how group influences the behavior of the individual. That's why this discipline is different from philosophy and psychology. So when he talks about suicide rates or suicide rate, he says the person committing suicide may be a personal phenomena, psychological phenomena. But in a society, if suicide rate is high, then there must be some social reason behind that. And in this way, sociology can find those social factors. And he pointed out social currents are the reason because of which there are certain social currents because of which people commit suicide. That you all are aware of. You must be aware of. अगर आपने sociology optional पढ़ा हो तो. Fine. So when you're prepared, you can answer these questions. Now next, let's move to the next slide. This is a typical question that they always ask. I will give you a safe answer to this question. What is the question? Who is your favorite sociologist? What do you like about his work? When you look at the syllabus, paper number 1, there are 6 thinkers that you have to study. Starting from Karl Marx, Emile Durkheim, Max Weber, Talcott Parsons, R.K. Merton, G.H. Mead. Out of these people, if you have to pick one, I will suggest you to pick Max Weber. And that has a reason. When you look at these 6 thinkers, you'll find they represent certain perspectives. For example, Emile Durkheim, Talcott Parsons, R.K. Merton, they belong to functionalist tradition. Emile Durkheim, functionalist, Talcott Parsons and R.K. Merton, structural functionalism. Same, functionalist they are. Then there is Karl Marx, representing conflict approach. There are 2 main thinkers who represent the micro perspective, the interpretive perspective, the interactionist perspective, namely Max Weber and G.H. Mead. It is Max Weber precisely. It is Max Weber who bridged the gap between the micro and macro approaches to understand society or to reflect on society. हाँ जी अभिषेक हिंदी मीडियम से हैं आप? अच्छा चलो थोड़ा सा बीच बीच में हिंदी बोलता रहूंगा मैं, बट दिस इज मेनली फॉर इंग्लिश मीडियम अभिषेक, बट एनीवेज नहीं समझ में आ रहा तो मैं बीच बीच में हिंदी बोल दूंगा, डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट. मैं आपको इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर दे रही हूं. इफ यू आर आस्क्ड हु इज योर फेवरेट sociologist, say Max Weber, because Max Weber is neither a functionalist nor a typically conflict perspective person. अब फंक्शनलिस्ट और कन्फ्लिक्ट में क्या अंतर है? फंक्शनलिस्ट हर चीज को अच्छा बताएंगे. हाउ द गिवन आइटम इज फंक्शनल फॉर द सोसाइटी इज देयर फोकस, whereas conflict perspective always tries to find out the conflict hidden in the society. So Marx will focus on economic thing. Economy for Marx is the base. Base determines the superstructure in which you will find the legal and political institutions. Means law is there, state is there, religion is there, education is there. So all other institutions are there in the superstructure, where in the base there is economy. So economy determines everything. It is also known as economic deterministic theory, which may be an extreme form of reflecting on social reality. On the other hand, when you ask Durkheim will find everything as functional. Means everything is whatever exists in the society. Not only him, all the functionalists in general. So be it Durkheim or Bronislaw Malinowski or Radcliffe Brown, Talcott Parsons, R.K. Merton. Though R.K. Merton is a little different, he also talks about this functional aspect of a given social item. But functionalism somehow focuses on understanding a given social phenomena in terms of its contribution to the society, how it contributes to the society. Okay? Whereas conflict perspective focuses on the conflict hidden in the, or the society's conflict hidden, they believe. Both of these approaches consider there are things external to and coercive of the individual. That's why people are behaving the way they are behaving. It was Max Weber who gave importance to the individual as well. Means he pointed out it is not only the system which is outside creating an influence on the individual. Rather, individual also interpret things. And suppose there is a custom. So if you think everybody is behaving because there is a custom in a particular way, they are behaving because there is a custom related to it, he will say that is not right. The same custom may be interpreted by different individuals differently, and depending on their interpretation of the custom they will perform. For example, पैर छूना एक नॉर्म है इंडिया में जनरली. इसमें क्या रिफ्लेक्ट होता है? माँ बाप की रेस्पेक्ट करनी चाहिए. पर माँ बाप को रेस्पेक्ट करने का सबका तरीका थोड़ा अलग अलग हो सकता है. ये वाला कंपोनेंट न तो फंक्शनलिज्म में दिखता है, न कॉन्फ्लिक्ट अप्रोच में दिखता है. इंडिविजुअल भी मायने रखता है. So suppose you think of this board or the wall as the society and bricks are the individuals. So functionalism as well as conflict approach focuses on the wall and not on the bricks. Whereas Weberian sociology, interpretive sociology focuses on the bricks as well. Individual is also important. And then his idea on authority. What is authority? Whenever you talks about authority, Max Weber is the authority. Means when you talk about authority, he is the most prominent scholar. Be it sociology, political science, public administration, wherever you have to study about authority, you have to study Max Weber. Then his idea on bureaucracy. Is again considered as the most important theory. Though his idea of bureaucracy is criticized on several grounds, he himself was aware of the problem of bureaucracy when he claimed that when you look at modern society, it is characterized by rationalization. So when rationalization will take place in a modern society, all rationalizations are going to take shape of a bureaucratic structure. And somehow it will create an iron cage. So he is aware that this is problematic. But this is what he is going to give an explanation to a modern society about कि ऐसा होगा इस society में because of rationalization. Acha, he is also a person who is a mature Marx, if you'll ask me. Marx only focused on economy. Economy determines everything. Weber said Marx is right to the extent it could be one of the reasons. Economy determines things, not necessarily everything. It is also possible other things can determine economy as well. Means, if you draw this picture like this, Marx focus economy is here, and rest, this is substructure, infrastructure, and rest is in superstructure. Superstructure may you can have your polity, law, religion, education, etc. So Marx said economy determines everything. Weber said that could be one of the possibility. It is also possible religion determines economy, and that is what he proved in his work Protestant Ethic and Spirit of Capitalism, where he pointed out Calvinist ethic or Protestant ethic contributed to the development of capitalism in Europe. That was a break from the traditional understanding that is only traditional in the sense dominance of Marx, economy determines everything. No. He proved something else. So he is not totally going against Karl Marx. He is saying whatever he is saying is right, and that could be only one case. Other possibilities are also there. So you can say Marx is monocausal. Monocausal means economy determines everything. Whereas Weber is multicausal. He is saying there are various explanations possible. One is economy leading to change in other institutions. Other institutions may also bring change in the economy itself. In this sense, he is more prominent. And as you have to work in bureaucracy, you have to understand the idea of authority. No other person has discussed in great detail the way Max Weber has. So he should be your favorite sociologist. ठीक है, ध्यान रखिएगा, मैक्स वेबर के बारे में बात कीजिएगा. अब ये एक टिपिकल क्वेश्चन पूछा जाएगा कि अब सोशियोलॉजी पढ़ी तो कुछ सोच के पढ़ा होगा ना. अगर कुछ सोच के पढ़ा तो ये बताओ कि तुम जिस डिस्ट्रिक्ट से आते हो उसके कुछ खास प्रॉब्लम क्या क्या है. What are those problems that you think are prevalent in your district, and how sociology is going to help you? Means how do you plan to solve them? आपके डिस्ट्रिक्ट की प्रॉब्लम क्या है और उसको कैसे सॉल्व करने वाले हो आप. तो ये तो आप पे डिपेंड करेगा कि विच स्टेट डू यू बिलोंग टू, विच डिस्ट्रिक्ट डू यू बिलोंग टू. फाइंड आउट प्रॉब्लम्स. अब प्रॉब्लम ढूंढने में अगेन सोशियोलॉजी इज गोइंग टू हेल्प यू. फंक्शनलिस्ट पर्सपेक्टिव विल नॉट हेल्प यू फाइंड द प्रॉब्लम्स. Conflict perspective will help you find out. Here, I will like to tell you something. Whenever we talk about perspective, sociological perspective, there are mainly three perspectives, mainly. And that I am writing as per Herlombus. What are those perspectives? Functionalist or functionalism, conflict perspective, then interactionist. If you have to find out problems, then from here, from functionalism, it is only R.K. Merton who is going to help you mainly. Because R.K. Merton says it is not only functional aspect of something that a sociologist should focus on, उसका कुछ dysfunctional aspect भी हो सकता है, उसको भी ध्यान में रखना चाहिए. बट मेजर क्रिटिसिज्म किसी भी चीज का समझना तो यहां से आएगा. कॉन्फ्लिक्ट पर्सपेक्टिव हैज टू मेजर अप्रोचेस, मार्क्सिज्म एंड फेमिनिज्म. अच्छा, टुगेदर विद दैट इफ यू वांट टू ऐड समथिंग, इंडिया की तरफ से आप ऐड कर सकते हो सबल्टन अप्रोच बाय रंजीत गुहा. He was a historian. He looked at history and said, when you look at history, it is written from top-down approach. Means it is in the history, all the people who were of the top class or upper caste, upper class people, they are there in the history. Where are the commoners? Where are the people who are at the bottom in the history? So we need to rewrite the history taking into perspective of the people who are at the bottom. So it is also known as bottom up approach. Bottom को ऊपर करके लिखने की चीज. So when you look from this perspective, and you can relate Dalit discourse as well here. Dalit discourse, it could be another name of subaltern approach itself. What is it? In Indian subcontinent, if you'll talk about, when you look at the caste system, Panchamas are the Dalits. So they have been facing problem since time immemorial, especially the problem of untouchability. So from that perspective, if you're reflecting on something, then definitely that will point out the problem present. When you talk about Indian society, it is caste system, patriarchy, economic inequality, etc. are the reason because of which problem prevails. तो वो सारे प्रॉब्लम अपना ढूंढ के लाओ और सोल्यूशन उसकी बताने की कोशिश करो कि मैं ये करूंगा. Okay? Why did I discuss this? Because if you have this perspective, you can reflect how sociology is helping you in understanding the problem. मार्क्सिस्ट पर्सपेक्टिव में इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटी आएगी, फेमिनिस्ट पर्सपेक्टिव में जेंडर पर्सपेक्टिव आएगा. व्हाट इज इट? हाउ women are exploited by men. We will discuss it further, but these perspectives tell you the problem of your given district as well. Though some other problems could also be there. For example, suppose there is prohibition on liquor. शराब की बंदी है और वहां लोग नकली शराब बेचते हैं या बनाते हैं. That could be altogether a different problem. So you should be aware of your problem. But why did I mention this? You can reflect how sociology is helping you find the problem in your district. Then how would you use your knowledge of sociology in administration? There are very simple things. When I mention about the perspectives, they will give you insight in things which is otherwise not visible. For example, when you look at R.K. Merton, he says, when you look from functionalist perspective, if you find everything functional, there is something that you are missing. I'm giving an example. What is the purpose of examination? If examination is taking place, what is the purpose of examination? The purpose of examination is understanding, evaluating the knowledge of the person, how good he or she is, what should be his focus area, where he is lacking, where she is not lacking, etc., etc. Evaluation is the main purpose. But do you think examination does that only? In fact, examination creates a hierarchy in the class. When results come, There are people who score low and somehow they are the backbenchers. Somehow I'm saying, I'm not just making it a universal phenomenon. So a hierarchy is created in the class. Frontbenchers, brilliant students, backbenchers, the leftovers, or they are not good in studies. It creates a division in the class itself. Is that a good thing? No, it is not. So, something which appears to be functional only may have dysfunctional aspect. Sociology is helping you understand this. So, whenever I am working, I will not look only at the functional aspect of something, rather, I will look at the dysfunctional aspect as well. And because of Marxism and feminism and subaltern approach, I will try to understand a given phenomena from their perspective as well, from the perspective of poor, from the perspective of marginalized. And that marginalization could be because of economy, caste, gender, race, etc. Sociology will help me understand this. And especially because of Max Weber, who talks about interpretive sociology, which focuses on empathization or empathy. If I can empathize with people, I will be able to solve their problem more efficiently. ठीक है? इस तरह से आंसर देके you can explain how sociology is going to help you. Okay? Then there are some questions. Look at these questions and they have a connection. Why do brides go to their groom's residence after marriage and not the opposite? शादी के बाद लड़के हैं लड़कों के घर क्यों जाते हैं? लड़के क्यों नहीं आते? Then why there is a gap of 3 years in marriageable age of man and women in India? And how do you see the prohibition of Child Marriage Amendment Act, Bill 2021 in this context? This kind of current thing. Then your name contains your father's name or surname and not your mother's. What do you think about it? Answer of all these 3 questions is patriarchy. Answer is patriarchy. This represents patriarchal residential system, which is also known as patrilocal or virilocal. There could be other ways as well, like Khasi, Jaintia, Garo in Meghalaya. They are not typically patriarchal communities. They're matriarchal. But in general, when you look at India, it is a patriarchal society. Patriarchy simply means rule of father, dominance of father. So that is why it has a particular system of residence. What about Europe? Europe is characterized by neo-local residential pattern. Neo-local. शादी के बाद एक नया घर. All this is being determined by society itself, not by the individual. That's how it is sociology. Then, why there is a gap of 3 years? 18 साल की लड़की, 21 साल का लड़का. 3 साल का gap किस लिए? The reason is patriarchy. And you'll be surprised, this question was raised by feminist group only. Why there is this gap? It should be corrected. And it was suggested they should have the similar age, same age. But this bill tried to make it 21 years. दोनों का same age 21 years. And current thing you should know, this bill has lapsed. ये bill lapsed हो चुका है. So we do not have this prohibition of Child Marriage Amendment Bill 2021, rather 2006 का amendment ही चल रहा है, where age is 18 and 21. We don't know what will happen in future, but the reason is patriarchal, nothing else. Education and all that reason मत दीजिएगा. It's not because of education. लड़कियों को पढ़ना चाहिए and all that. Because when you look at the mean age, it is already 22.8 in India. Mean age already 22.8 है. It is about liberty. It is about freedom. So, When you look at 18th Law Commission, it has suggested it should be 18 years and the age of consent should be 16 years. Age of consent means age to have sexual intercourse should be 16 years. And marriage 18 years. They should not be connected. They are two different things. That was suggested. And the same suggestion was given by Justice Verma committee as well. In the aftermath of Nirbhaya case, he was made the chairman of the committee. He also suggested the age of consent should be 16 years. But marriageable age should be 18 years. Nowhere in the world, you can Google it, nowhere in the world it is 21 years. In the modern society I'm talking about. You can even find 17 years, 18 years maximum. An age of consent 16. So if you're going for modernization of this rule, it should be 18 years. Rest जब वो शादी करना चाहे करे. But the reason is patriarchy. 3 साल का गैप. बड़ा इंसान होता है उसकी रिस्पेक्ट तो करोगे ही आप. तो 3 साल पति बड़ा हो गया, रिस्पेक्ट अपने आप आ गया. पति परमेश्वर. So it is nothing but reflection of patriarchy. Then your mother name is not there in your name. Again, that is patriarchy. There is no rule. There is no law which compels you to have surname of your father. It is the patrilineage system. Lineage and descent you might have studied. System of kinship mein. So, it is your lineage because of which you choose the surname of the previous generation. And we have patrilineage system. That's why. So, answer of all these 3 questions is patriarchy. Explanation मैंने आपको दे दिया. Then, that's the last thing that we have. No, more. Just a minute. I'm finishing it. Some quick question they will ask. For example, how do you define a virtual organization? There is one person sitting in America, another is in Germany, one is in India, one is in Japan. They all are working for one organization, working from home digitally. That kind of organization is virtual organization. What is looking glass self? Again, this theory comes from interactionist perspective. C.H. Cooley is the person who has given looking glass self theory. Looking glass means mirror. मिरर में तुम अपने आप को देखते हो. अब ये मिरर कौन है? समाज. सोसाइटी जो आपको बताती है आप वैसा ही बन जाते हो. So you can say in simple words, you are not what you think you are. या ऐसे कहो, I am not what you think you are. Neither I am what I think I am. I am what I think other thinks I am. मैं वो नहीं हूं जो मैं सोचता हूं मैं हूं. मैं वो नहीं हूं जो तुम सोचते मैं हूं. मैं वो हूं जो मुझे लगता है कि तुम मेरे बारे में सोचते हो मैं हूं. कंफ्यूजिंग है? सिंपल सी बात. सोसाइटी इज मिरर. You look in the mirror, the way society tells you, you are this, you are that, you are that. Gradually, you develop your identity around that. That's looking glass self theory. Is Marx relevant today? That could be a good question. Till when we have capitalism and inequality in the society, Marx is relevant. Do we have inequality? For sure. You know about global south and global north? So global north accounts for 80%, roughly 80% of the population, and global north, which involves all the developed countries, they only account for 20% of the population. Whereas they have 80% of the wealth. 20% of the world population has 80% of the wealth, whereas 80% of the world population has only 20% of the wealth. That means there is inequality, and that has been clearly pointed out by people like Thomas Piketty, नाम ध्यान रखिएगा, Thomas Piketty, French economist, or Michael Sandel, professor in Harvard University. They always point out the demerits of capitalism. So till when you are going to criticize capitalism, find out the problem, Marx is relevant. Then, these are tricky questions. That's why I mentioned it. 5 Nobel Prize winner from sociology. None. Why? There is no Nobel Prize in sociology. ये पूछा हुआ शख्स, मतलब कैंडिडेट जिसका हो चुका है, उस इंटरव्यू दे चुका है, उससे पूछा था ये क्वेश्चन। 5 सोशियोलॉजिस्ट का नाम बताओ जिनको, मतलब 5 सोशियोलॉजी में जिनको नोबेल मिला है। सोशियोलॉजी में नॉलेज नोबेल होता ही नहीं है, तो नन है। वैसे देर आर पीपल हु आर इकोनॉमिस्ट एज वेल एज सोशियोलॉजिस्ट, लाइक गुन्नर मिडाल, गैरी बेकर, एमिली ग्रीन बाल्श। अब गुन्नर मिडाल स्कैंडिनेवियन इकोनॉमिस्ट एंड सोशियोलॉजिस्ट है, एंड ये दोनों अमेरिकन सोशियोलॉजिस्ट और इकोनॉमिस्ट है। इन लोग को मिला है, बट दे हैव नॉट रिसीव्ड इन सोशियोलॉजी, मतलब इकोनॉमिक साइंस प्राइज एंड पीस प्राइज। तो आंसर वाज नन। अब ऐसा क्वेश्चन का आंसर अगर नहीं पता है तो सिंपली यू कैन से आई एम नॉट अवेयर, सॉरी आई एम मिसरीडिंग समथिंग, आई एम नॉट अवेयर अबाउट इट। सेइंग नो इज बेटर देन सेइंग समथिंग अननेसेसरली। नहीं पता है बोल दो, नहीं पता है, इसका कोई आंसर था ही नहीं। देन हु इज मदर एंड फादर ऑफ सोशियोलॉजी? जब भी आप सोशियोलॉजी पढ़ते यू नो ऑगस्ट कॉम्ट इज द फादर ऑफ सोशियोलॉजी। एज सच मदर का कोई नाम जानता ही नहीं। तो ऐसे कुछ ट्रिकी क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं। अगर पूछे तो यू कैन से सर ऑगस्ट कॉम इज नोन एज फादर ऑफ सोशियोलॉजी, probably I am not aware about I did not read about the mother of sociology, but I am giving you the name Harriet Martineau. Harriet Martineau एक ब्रिटिश सोशल वर्कर कह लीजिए, सोशियोलॉजिस्ट कह लीजिए, उनको मदर ऑफ सोशियोलॉजी कहा जाता है बिकॉज शी हैज ट्रांसलेटेड द वर्क ऑफ ऑगस्ट कॉम्ट हु रोट इन फ्रेंच इन इंग्लिश। उन्होंने इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट किया, तो इनको कई बार मानते हैं। कई लोग इब्न खालदून को भी मानते हैं फादर, बट सोशियोलॉजी में ऑगस्ट कॉम्ट और हैरियट मार्टिनो को मानते हैं मदर एंड फादर। देन subaltern studies come from sociology or history. I just explained it came from history, Ranjit Guha, but it has become a dominant thing in sociology as well. Whenever you're looking from the bottom's perspective, the downtrodden perspective, that is subaltern approach. It came from history. So these are the questions that you should have in your mind. Be confident. That's the main thing. Be confident and don't try to answer which you do not know. Don't try to outsmart those people who are interviewing you, because you cannot. So better be honest, confident, and best of luck. Before, in my class, there is this thing. There's this kind of, if you want to go for the class interview session, you can scan this thing, and then there is a number given. If you want to contact the people, if you have your interview in future, you can use this information. And again, I will say best of luck to all of you. Thank you.